ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore.
Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. I have with me a little friend, and it just happens that the little friend's name is Friendly, and Friendly is an Angora rabbit. Now, you probably saying to yourself, I never saw an Angora rabbit with a tail before. That's because this isn't a tail at all. What this is a hank, I would suppose, of wool which has been woven from this particular animal and then dyed to this color. And our first contestant specializes in dyeing hair or wool from such animals as cats, dogs, and on into the more exotic realm. And we'll meet her as soon as Friendly and I say hello to our friendly panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Tom Kennedy. Peggy Cass. Bill Collins. And Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you, Red. Oh, boy. Yeah, he's a shitty one. Huh? All over Angora fur. That's expensive stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now let's meet the woman with an interesting yarn to spin. Hit you right in the head. Let's meet a woman who's got a very interesting tale for us. Here we go.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Ruth Castino.
Number two.
My name is Ruth Castino.
Number three.
My name is Ruth Castino.
It says, I, Ruth Castino, am a spinster. That is, a spinster in the classical sense, meaning one who spins. As a spinning craftsman, I believe in doing all aspects of my craft myself. I own sheep, I shear them myself, I card the wool, spin the yarn, and dye the yarn with natural materials to the colors that I want. Then I'm ready to weave, knit, or crochet the kind of articles you see before you. Number one is holding a natural alpaca table runner with a border design from possums and white and gray Angora rabbits. The skirt worn by number two is made from sheep wool, plus hair from 2 horses, 1 German shepherd, and 3 cats. And number three's hat is part wool dyed purple with the bark of the logwood tree, and part hair from a gray poodle. I've also spun the hair of goats, camels, reindeer, and even human beings. In fact, I can spin just about anything. Would you believe the hair from milkweed pods and even chicken feathers? Signed, Ruth Castino. Before the show, she told me she had woven herself a beautiful suit out of dog hair, and she was going to wear it down to the show today, but it keeps getting car sick. We'll be right back after a commercial or two. Now then, I'm sure you'll remember that we have 3 ladies across the way all saying that they are Ruth Castino, who makes clothes and such out of hair from rabbits, dogs, cats, possums, and heaven knows what. Let's start the questioning with the master of ceremonies of split second, Mr. Tom Kennedy.
Thank you, Gary. Number 3, where do you live?
I live in Rockland County, New York.
Yes, out in the country, I presume.
Suburbs, yes.
All right. Number 2, what does card, when you say card wool, what does the word card mean?
It means you comb the fleece to get at any burrs or twigs.
Number 1, have you made anything out of human hair?
Yes, I've used human hair.
For what? What did you do?
Well, I've woven it together with wool. It makes a nice soft wool. I've made a scarf.
Uh-huh. Well, would you believe it? This coat is made out of human hair. It's my own. It's called me hair. It's made, number...
Thank you, Tom. Let's go to Peggy.
Thank you. Number 3, do you wash the stuff before you start to spin it?
Sometimes, yes.
Oh, well, number one, I never thought that maybe a camel would smell 100% terrific. Don't you have to wash that and put a little, like, rinse water on it before you start to work?
Yes, you usually do wash your wool unless you want an unwashed effect, a lanolin, natural lanolin within the wool. Then you don't wash it.
Well, number two, if you, sheep have lanolin, right?
Yes.
Well, now, if you spun something like a coat from a sheep that still had the lanolin, would it be like a raincoat and waterproof?
Kind of, yes. That's why the fishermen's sweaters in Ireland are so good.
Thank you. Number three, in literature, there was somebody who spun and took it out every night till her husband came home. Do you know who that was?
No, I don't.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Bill Cullen.
Number one, I am intrigued to know how you do your own spinning. Is that right?
That's
You
correct.
take the raw wool and make it into a
That's-
thread or
that's
yarn.
right.
Now, how do you go about taking, for instance, human hair? We'll go back to that. I assume it has to be long.
Not necessarily.
And
You comb it.
Yeah.
And you get some, but actually you don't get enough to make a total product out of hair. That's why you spin it first and then you weave it together with another fiber. And that usually supplies whatever you want.
Number one, there's a part of a spinning wheel used to describe the wife. I mean, the man is the spear, and what do they call the wife going back to antiquity in the days of the spinning wheel? Do you know that? It's a part of the number three?
Do you mean the distaff side?
That's the one I mean, and I couldn't think of it.
I'm too glad you asked the question. Now you know your answer. Let's go to Kitty.
Well, number two, where do you find reindeer in Rockland County?
Well, I don't. I'm from Julian, California.
You find reindeer in California?
Well, actually, yes. And also, I also ride away. The Nitty Notty on Croton on the Hudson supplies reindeer and other wool that's hard to get.
Nitty Notty?
Nitty Notty, it's a shop on Croton on the Hudson.
Number one, you were nodding when Peggy asked about that lady that took it out every night. Do you know her name?
Penelope.
And number three, why do you use these odd materials like poodles and stuff? Wouldn't it be just as sensible to dye something poodle gray, or why do you use these odd things?
It isn't the color, it's the texture.
I
That's so
see.
unusual.
Thank you. Number two, what's the difference between the warp
I'm
and the
sorry,
woof?
I'd like to know more about this. And warp or wool for nothing. We got a ballot, and we have to mark our ballots for number one, or for number two, or for number three. Of course, you know we pay each team of challengers $50 for each wrong answer, $500 if the panel goes down in total defeat. And Tom Kennedy starts, please.
Really confused, Gary.
Tough.
Number two came on and just about swung me over the last, but I'm going to stay with number one because I just thought that she was generally more knowledgeable, you know.
And so Tom's got a one up there, and Peggy's up.
I didn't vote for three because I think anybody who is a weaver would know about good old Penelope. And number two, I don't know why I didn't vote for you. I don't believe the name Nitty Notty Noonie Beady Doo. I voted for number one.
All right, so we got a pair of ones, and Bill Cullen.
I say whether or not she knew about Penelope, number three knew about the distaff, and I voted for her for that reason.
And that's the way it goes here. Three and a pair of ones. How
Well,
about
I
the kid?
believe Nitty Notty, and I believe number one. But I voted for number three because she didn't have to know about Penelope. She doesn't take it out every night. She makes it up out of all kinds of strange things.
All righty, and so we got it split on both ends. The votes are all in. Will the real Ruth Castino please stand up? Where are you, Ruth? There. Thank you, Ruth. Let's find out who your friends are. Number one, tell us about you.
My name is Vi Dennison, and I'm an admissions officer at Teachers College, Columbia University.
Oh, hey. And number two?
My name is Janice Rothstein, and I'm Public Relations Director for Mr. Bubble Bath.
Mr. Bubble Bath. Yeah. And Nitty Notty on Croton on the Hudson. Ruth Castino, have you yourself personally made the various items that we saw earlier this morning? That wasn't made clear.
Yes, except for the beanie, which was made by a fifth-grade student of mine.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, thank you, Ruth, and thank you, ladies, very much for bringing this to us on To Tell the Truth. Now let's meet our numerologist.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is David Clarkson Swarm.
Number two.
My name is David Clarkson Swarm.
Number three.
My name is David Clarkson Swarm.
Okay, and here's the interesting story of David Clarkson Swarm. He says, "Hi, David Clarkson Swarm. I'm a numerologist. Numerology is the science of numbers. Simply by being told a person's name and birth date, I can tell a great deal about him. For example, the number 3 in your birth date indicates a person of words, usually a person in the entertainment field. Letters of the alphabet are also important. For instance, the letters C, L, and U indicate a talkative personality. When I find a sign of disaster in a person's chart, I try and give a positive solution to it. The other day, I was given the name and birthday of a certain Thomas Garrison Morfitt, who most people know by the name of Gary Moore. And here's what I found. Very independent from birth, he did not want to be tied down. Changing his name gave him a greater emotional release." I didn't know that. "Gary's easy way with people had to be developed. It is not an innate gift. And although he has his own definite ideas, he is an excellent diplomat and sees both sides of the picture." Later on in the program, I will analyze each member of the To Tell the Truth panel. Signed, David Clarkson Swarm. And let's go to, what did you say, C, U, and L are talkative letters.
Yeah.
Let's go to Bill Cole.
And I can't think of a thing to say. Number one, you mentioned there that Gary's easy way with people had to be developed. It was not a gift. Does that mean, may I take it then, number one, that Gary actually dislikes people? I'm trying to help you, Gary.
No,
Thanks, Bill.
no, Bill, that's not true. When Gary changed his name, at that point is when he developed this ability.
Number three, to go further, not that I mind being considered talkative, because I am, but you mentioned C, U, and L, or however, C, L, and U mean talkative. Why is it, for instance, that they mean talkative when perhaps that name was handed down and perhaps changed around through the years, and maybe I wasn't Cullen originally at all? I think I am, but I don't know.
Right. Well, that's the very thing, Bill. When your name is changed, your vibrations change. In other words, when whatever your name was at birth, there was a different vibration.
Oh.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Let's go to Kitty Carlisle.
Fascinating. Number two, what combination or a letter means disaster, and what kind of disaster did you mean?
Well, no letter really means a disaster. It's understanding how to use the letters that you have.
Oh, I see. Well, number one, why does your birth date have anything to do with it, as well as your name?
Your birth date is the key to your whole makeup, the vibrations that are around your name.
Well, thank you. Number three, can you then change your whole personality and modify your birth date by changing your name?
In a way you can, but you see every number has a constructive part, then a negative part, and then a destructive part. So that rather than trying to change your name and your vibration, you should try to change your negativism to constructivism.
Thank you. Number two.
We're going to go down to Tom Kennedy.
All right, well, Kitty left off with number two, so I'll start with him. What is the best possible date you can think of to be born? What's the good? All right, you deal with numbers.
Each one would be best for the individual, you know. It's.
I see. All right, let me ask you a better question then. When someone changes their name, like Mr. Moore did, Thomas Morfitt there. Incidentally, your first name is Tom.
Yeah, Tom.
Did he,
Used to be
or
Grace.
does one, yes, that's right. Do you think one, either consciously or subconsciously, chooses a name that fits his personality?
On a changed name?
Yeah, on a changed name.
I think it can be both ways. It depends on the individual.
Thank you, Tom. And let's go to Peggy, please.
Number three, I was born Mary Margaret, but they never called me Mary Margaret. They always called me Peggy. Now, why did that happen?
Well, why they called you Peggy?
I can tell you, because my mother's name was Margaret. It would have been confusing in the house, but I don't think it had anything to do with my personality.
Well, right now, you see, the word Peggy, the P, G, and Y, they're all sevens. You're a very strong vibration of 7.
Yeah.
And what are you doing after the show, Peggy?
Yeah.
What does that mean, to be a strong side vibration of 7?
Well, actually, what that means is that you're the type of person that has a tendency to escape a little from certain things. You're very analytical. A 7 is an analytical person,
What's a rich number one? What's a very rich number? I mean, a letter to have in your name.
A 1. A 1 is a rich. That means the pioneer, the leader.
That doesn't mean rich. Rich is ace.
In any event, we have just got ourselves a ding-dong, and that means that they must mark their ballots over there. You and I must decide as to whether it's number 1, number 2, or number 3. And Bill Cullen, you have made yourself a positive number, have you?
Yeah, I have. What I voted for on the basis of the things we're told is I started to write down a number 3, but Peggy's 7s were vibrating so bad when I wrote that it turned out bad. But anyway, number 3 gets my vote.
You got a shaky 3 out there, and Kitty.
Well, number 3 didn't ask me what I was doing after the show, but I voted for him anyway.
A pair of 3s. Tom Kennedy coming out.
It looks like it's going to be a grand slam. I went with 3 also.
Oh, boy. And Peggy, you
But
gotta go out.
you guys have got to be right because I'm so analytical. I
Everybody here seems to agree that it is number 3, and we'll find out about the vibrations in this name. Will the real David Clarkson Swarm please vibrate up?
It's 2. I knew
There. Good shot, gentlemen. We have lost to you $500 most cheerfully. Good job. Number 1, what is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Cecil Lear, and I'm an advertising sales representative for Peterson Publishing Company.
Good outfit. Number 3, you took the whole ball of wax. What's your real name? What do you do?
My name is Richard Wahlberg, and I'm an inspector for the City of New York Taxi and Limousine Commission. And if you want a good cab ride, call me up.
Now, David Swarm is going to give us a quick analysis of each of our panelists. Remember, all he knows about them is their name and their birth date. Who do you want to start with, David?
Let's start with Kitty. Her chart is here on top. Kitty, one of the most important things you need to do in keying into your own personality is to be able to focus, because you tend to be somewhat a split personality. You have 2 different sides to the coin, and you can tend to scatter a little bit in too many directions because of your many different interests and become the jack of all trades, master of none. So focusing is the most important key word, I would say, for you. This is a year of change. Look for it, because you have a new opportunity this year definitely coming into your own life.
Tom?
Yeah.
In your chart, one of the important aspects to consider is the extent to which you can hold emotions inside of you. You need to learn to release more and not be quite so strict with yourself. You can become your own cross to bear by being too strict with yourself, more strict than other people would be. Because you work with new ideas, you work with original ideas, and you want to start new beginnings. This is what you mainly want to work with. And this is a strong year for expression. One interesting point is that each of the charts of the panel members, as well as Gary, has a strong placement of the master vibration 11. And 11 is an electric vibration. It's a strong vibration to do with television. It's a vibration that deals with invention, an inventive mind. So it's interesting that each of you should have this very strong placement of 11, which is not a usual thing.
Inventive mind. I don't even understand the telephone, let alone television. Peggy.
Peggy.
Yeah.
What my companion here said is partly true. You work very strongly with an analytical mind, wanting to interpret, wanting to get to the bottom of things. You love to know those things which people are trying to secret from you. The more someone would try and keep a secret from you, the more you'd want to know about it.
Right.
And with your strong use of the 3 M's in emotions, you love meat, malt, and mattress, and the senses of life. You must be careful not to use avenues of escape. You must use things that involve you with life instead of having them
I've
be...
heard enough already.
But you have that 8 you wanted.
I
You have that 8 you were asking about, because that's your achievement and shows that you do have the potential to have a very strong financial return in your own life. So hang on.
Dare, Bill Cullen?
Bill Cullen.
Yes, sir.
You're working with a very strong vibration of 11. It's the soul urge, which is what you want. It's the ability level and the expression, and it's your achievement, which is what you must do, which shows that you work very strongly within the line of publicity. You work very strongly within things being known about you, and whether you wanted them to be or not, whether it was good or whether it was infamous, it would be known about and it would be talked about. This is your natural vibration. You too have to be somewhat careful about overgiving. If you give too much, you can then recriminate for or other people not appreciating you?
Give me back my mattress.
Thank you, David, very much. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. We'd love to stay with you, but Ruth Castino just knit me a necktie, and I have to take it out and feed it. We'll see you next time.
This is Bill Wendell speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Tarpon production.